They were the chosen few, young, proud, trained to fly the pride of Nazi Germany. The Messerschmitt Bf 109. It was sleek, fast, and lethal. But behind its legendary silhouette and formidable dogfighting record lay a dark secret. A design flaw so fatal that hundreds of Luftwaffe pilots never even met the enemy. They died in silence. Not in glory, but on their own runways, betrayed by the very machine they trusted with their lives. They were boys when they signed up, some barely 17, wide-eyed and full of fire, told they would defend the skies in the Luftwaffe's finest creation, the Messerschmitt Bf 109. It was sleek, fierce, and carried the myth of invincibility, its shadow casting fear across the battlefields of Europe. But what they didn't know, what no one dared say aloud in the briefing rooms or over the roar of engines, was that the greatest danger wasn't the enemy, it was the machine itself. The Bf 109 was a marvel of engineering built for speed, not survival. Its narrow, fragile landing gear retracted inward into the fuselage, a fatal compromise that saved weight but condemned countless young men. On muddy fields or icy runways, even the slightest gust of crosswind could tip the plane over like a domino. The aircraft would skid, cartwheel, or nose over violently, often bursting into flames before the pilot even had a chance to breathe. Those lucky enough to survive the impact weren't out of danger. Inside the cockpit, escape was nearly impossible. The canopy, hinged rather than sliding, jammed frequently in crashes. Flames would rise fast. Smoke would fill the cramped space. And more than once, rescuers arrived too late, finding only scorched metal and the unmistakable handprints of pilots who had tried, desperately, to claw their way out. The training manuals never warned of this. No speech prepared them for it. Veterans watched it happen. Again and again, another recruit. Gone before ever facing a Spitfire or a Thunderbolt. No parade, no glory. Just smoke drifting across a ruined airstrip and silence in the barracks that night. Germany's desperate push to flood the skies led them to send half-trained youths into battle with a machine that demanded perfection, yet offered no margin for error. And the cruelest part? Most of them never had a chance. They died alone in their cockpits, betrayed not by bullets or bombs, but by design flaws buried beneath layers of steel and pride. By the end of the war, statistics whispered what the pilots already knew. More Bf 109s were lost in takeoffs, landings, and training accidents than in actual combat. The Luftwaffe's most iconic aircraft was also its most merciless executioner. And today, when we see the Bf 109 on display in museums or suspended, mid-dive in documentaries, it gleams with preserved glory. But behind its cold canopy, glass still echoes the panic, the cries and the hands of the forgotten boys who never returned home. They weren't just aces in the making. They were sons, brothers, dreamers, and all they wanted was to fly. Today, fragments of the Bf 109 rest in museums, its sleek frame still admired for its speed and power. But for those who wore the uniform, it tells a different story, a story of youth lost, of machines that bit back, and of final flights that ended not in glory but in smoke, fire, and silence. These weren't just pilots. They were sons, brothers, boys who flew with hope and fell without warning.